Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I'm super excited. I want to do a quick update on the metaverse and just talk about some recent news that have impacted some stocks and just the overall market. Like always, if this is your first time here, guys, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and check out the pinned comment where I have 10 free stock ideas for you. And we're also going to be looking at this presentation where I kind of share a little bit of my thoughts and share all the other stocks that I have. So feel free to sign up there. So right now, some recent news in the metaverse, and we're going to take a look. First, Microsoft today announced that they are kind of doing some virtual 3D avatars for their Teams, which is their online meetings platform, and it's expected to come in 2022. So here we can see a picture of Teams if you used it before. Some of their characters there are developed by, are kind of animated, right? And these animated characters, we can take a quick look at the presentation here. They kind of show that, hey, you can kind of have like a 2D or 3D meeting. These kind of interactive avatars can do a little bit like if you raise your hand, they physically would raise your hand, and you don't need a form of hardware to do it. You can kind of just use your computer. Obviously, if you have kind of like an interactive meeting with multiple animated 3D characters, it'll be a lot better to kind of have some form of augmented reality, HoloLens, virtual reality glasses to kind of really experience that kind of meeting. Right, so that's pretty awesome right now. So Microsoft came out with that. Some other news we can see from Microsoft is their CEO said that they are focusing on building the metaverse for gaming. And let's take a quick look here. Microsoft CEO says that it is absolutely focusing on gaming for the metaverse with Xbox. Quote, you can absolutely expect us to do things in gaming. If you take Halo as a game, it is a metaverse. Minecraft is a metaverse, and so is Flight Sim. In some sense, they're 2D today, and the question is, can you now take to a full 3D world? And we absolutely plan to do so. So I think this is such an interesting point about the metaverse right now, right? And something, or just about these talks about the metaverse is, all these games that have kind of created, that have strong IPs from some of the big players like Activision, EA Games, Microsoft with Halo, all these players, right? They've all created a kind of internal metaverse in when they have developed these games. The real question is, this metaverse has to be a form of open platform where everything can be connected. And the way to do that properly is the real question on how and when that will happen. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But something Microsoft right now, today the stock price is up about 1%, which is pretty interesting. I wonder if it's based on these kind of metaverse news. If it is, I hope. I wouldn't be a big fan of that, and I will explain why. In the past year, in the past 52 weeks, Microsoft has returned about 64.58% to investors. If we take a look at another company we're going to look at in a bit, this is Meta Platforms Inc., also known as Facebook previously. This is down about 0.7% right now, and we can take a look in the past year. This stock has returned about 25.4%. Do you want 10 free stock picks right now? Well, if you do, let's take a quick listen to today's sponsor, a great reason why I'm able to provide so much content to you guys for free. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 free stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beat the market by more than 4x. Go to fool.com/Jose to get your free 10 stock picks now. And if we take a look at recent news for Facebook or Meta, Facebook recently kind of moved to focus on the metaverse, right? They changed titles. They're spending a little bit more capex, a lot more capex money in kind of hardware, data centers, what else? Network components to kind of build the future for the metaverse. And I actually did an episode on Facebook earnings. Make sure to check that out. Now that we saw some recent news, I want to kind of share my overview and some questions I have about this and things us as investors should keep an eye out. First, the metaverse is not going to be here anytime soon. But the term will be used repeatedly to increase excitement. I mean, I think before we had that Facebook Meta platforms concept, if you were in the Twitter community, everybody was down talking Meta platforms or Facebook, whichever you want to call it. after that meeting, everybody started talking about the metaverse, right? So it kind of brings that excitement, and it's crazy how it just changed overnight, literally, for example, meta platforms, aka Facebook. What, in my opinion, is more important, it's not the metaverse, it's not the final destination, but are the tools developed that are being developed along the way and how they can provide value in the short term right now. For example, this meta teams, this teams that Microsoft is working with, the animated avatars. What kind of value does that provide to the current business right now? Or in the short term, how can that help out some of Microsoft's other software and stuff like that? I think that's, as investors, the most important thing we should kind of keep in think of is how are the tools that are being developed right now for the future of the metaverse still able to provide some form of value in the short term. So now the final thing I actually want to talk about is my top concerns about Meta platform, aka Facebook. But before we go there, let's just check if you guys want to learn a little bit more about Facebook and what they're doing a little bit with the metaverse, or how they're kind of going in creating experiences. One of my favorite places to go is go to just Google Oculus.com and do Facebook Horizon. Facebook Horizon Worlds is kind of the metaverse they're creating right now. You can also go to their Facebook Reality Labs website and just Google that, for example, and they'll take you there. And you guys can just skim through the website and see what type of experience, what types of apps and games are they doing, and how are they trying to grab users, right? So this is a cool concept. But now let me share my top concerns about Meta Platform Inc. First, both these companies that I mentioned, Microsoft and Metaverse, are in my position, are in my portfolio. And in my weekly buy list, which came out Saturday or Sunday, I forgot, Meta Platforms is actually on the list for this upcoming Friday. So even though I am bullish and I might be planning on buying within the next 3 days or 4 days, there's still concerns, right? As investors, we still have to have concerns with our investments. We can't just be the ultimate blindsided bull. First, in my opinion, the metaverse needs to be an open platform. And I think this is where Facebook kind of drags a little bit. A perfect example right now, if you want to use or experience anything within Facebook's Oculus platform, their Oculus 2, you need to have a Facebook account. And that to me is not an open platform, right? It's only right now closed to, first, the users or people who have that hardware, and to the people who have an account. Obviously, it makes sense for Facebook advertisements business, but I don't think that same applies for Facebook's metaverse business. And I think that's where some issues are going to around. You can't be the metaverse if you're not an open platform. I do believe for Facebook to kind of, or meta platforms to kind of grow from this, they have to follow a model like Microsoft did in cloud. Microsoft developed numerous software tools, and even though Microsoft has their own clouding company, Azure, their tools are not limited to Azure. Their teams are able to be used in any other clouding platform that you want to use, right? So that kind of allows, it kind of created this open world within that software tools. So I think whoever is able to do something like Microsoft did in the cloud, who knows, it might be Microsoft itself. I think that will be the true winner. Again, at the same time, I don't think this is something that's going to happen in the near future. I do think Facebook, in my opinion, right now, with the capex that they're expending, they should focus more on the infrastructure and maybe not so much in the consumer hardware as time progresses. Obviously, right now, Oculus 2 is probably one of the cheapest with the better performing hardware. And maybe right now they should focus as kind of the market adopts into it. Still very, very low percentage of people that own one. But as that market grows, I think Meta platforms should kind of escape out of that and kind of just really focus on building the infrastructure and, like I mentioned, becoming that open platform. I think if it does that correctly, and that's what I will be watching in the upcoming years, right, in the upcoming quarters, of how Facebook kind of, if it wants to convert itself more into an open platform. I don't know if it would, but if it does, to me, that would be completely bullish in my opinion. And they should stop focusing on hardware. They should have, hey, if you want to build the hardware for us, feel free to do so. Your hardware can work fine with us. Just come into our metaverse. And I think that would be the best thing they can do. So those are my top concerns and some of the things I wish Facebook and Meta platforms would be doing right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.